G'day. Hello. I don't know whether this, on the 7th of September 2010, is addressed to Charlie, to yourself, Charlie, or whether it's addressed to just people in general, or whether it's just really a stream of consciousness. It's me sort of talking to the camera. But I understand that there's been certain events that have affected the Love Police, the sort of end to that medium of communication, or not an end, or maybe a temporal end to that medium of communication, and now this sort of journey into Bluefire Corp, of which I'm struggling really to define exactly what it is, all bar an expression of somebody's, I don't know, it's really hard to define. But I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to rationalise it through this in the way that I've seen things happen via YouTube mainly, but through blogs and other mediums. And I think what it all comes down to is way back, and it was this time last year, and I was my fiance and we just moved into a new place. I just left the company at the same time actually that Charlie got made redundant, and I started up my own business. Design business. Marketing, the work of the beast essentially, but what I've mainly worked with is people sort of downscale, the smaller businesses, and people are trying to make their living. So in that way, that's been my angle. But I mean, again, I've always had issues with the whole angle of marketing, PR, so it's with great regret I admit that I myself am guilty of being a hypocrite on a number of occasions, but essentially I hold things back a bit more centrally. My main angle since last year has been to educate and inform people with regard to the law, with regard to their rights. So there was a lot of synergy between myself and Charlie at that time, and when I saw the liberation of Canary Wharf, I think that was like a definitive change in my life. It was definitive change, and it was fantastic to see this system being questioned. And I found that Danny and Charlie together made an exceptional, they were like, I don't know, metaphysical warriors, and it was beautiful to see the reactions. It was the reactions, I think, to what you said, beautiful, and it was fantastic, and the fact that you were communicating a message of peace and love. And I think as soon as Danny and Charlie split up, I got a feeling over the period of time that the whole rhetoric from Charlie changed. It became more militant, it became more ego driven, and I just found all of the Love Police stuff very ego driven. All of the assemblies of people who came down, there was always this essence of the camera always being on Charlie, which essentially it would be if you had your cameraman filming an event, but essentially I think as well in any documentary, and if you're a filmmaker, it's important to cover a subject, and the subject shouldn't be the person just speaking and conveying their ideas. I think you need to get reactions to the subject. So I think as a medium, the Love Police came across as more a militant organisation, not in the terms of aggression, in terms of mentality, more militant, more confrontational than everything is okay. I found the message of love and peace and everything is okay to be more prevalent than in all the Love Police stuff. It's taken a while really for me to sort of detach from the movement, and it was very similar to what happened with Alex Jones. When I listened to Alex Jones initially, got awakened to a lot of things, but I did again see this militancy and this narrow-mindedness with regard to certain things like religion. And I myself was on the Alex Jones show, and I said a very brilliant thing about, if I do say so myself, about using medium like YouTube, which is very relevant, YouTube, Google videos, Facebook, to share the information about the New World Order, about conspiracies, about this systematic matrix sort of environment in which we live. But as soon as I mentioned Buddhism on the Alex Jones show, it cut off, and it's, I don't know, like, it's very important to have people who speak the truth, but you can't be so wrapped up. You become wrapped up in their ego through the medium of YouTube, through the medium of TV and the media, alternative media, any sort of media. It's all images, it's all flickers, snapshots, sound bites. And I think when you get to grips with the person, I don't know, I've known of activists. You look at Gandhi, who acted like they were active for years. They put up with arrest, and they put up with, they were for years and years and years and years to stand up for what they believed. And it's been 12 months, and the man's too tired, But it was all, the man's too tired. And Charlie, I'm sorry, but after 12 months, you're too tired. I can imagine what the situation would have been if you'd have been working a job, or you had 2 children and you were running around doing all of this whilst you had responsibilities. And which I think that's one of the greatest respects I have for Danny, is that with his children there's great risk to him. There was always great risk in speaking out, more of a risk really than there is to you, Charlie. And I find this whole scenario with the corporate pushing like the Bluefire Corporation or Bluefire Corp, this commercial venture, how tangible is it? It's a business idea, it's something to pay the bills, but couldn't you pay the bills doing something better? Couldn't you pay the bills and working with disabled children, or working with like elderly people, and spending your time passing on that love and humanity which you speak so much about? Why suddenly take this dark, sort of slightly evocative? And it is, for me, it reminds me of Cheaters on, they had it on like Sky years ago when my folks had Sky, and people would like get a camera crew to go in and find their partner cheating. It's that same kind of dark, exploratory, but it's for financial gain. And that's what's driving this enterprise, is coming away from that way of life from the Love Police, stepping back and stepping off the podium, and then going back to being normal, but not quite normal, because you're Charlie Cveitch and you're special. I don't know, I kind of get the impression that you may in some sort of way be bipolar. I'm not defining anything like that. I myself would be diagnosed as being bipolar, and I understand the thoughts, the emotions, the passion, the highs and the lows, but I find that celebrity can be a very dangerous thing, and I can't say that I really agree with this route that you've gone down, man, with this Bluefire Corp. But that's my 50 pence worth anyway. Not that my opinion matters much in the grand scale of the world, but I just urge you to look to do something a little lighter than looking at the darkness all the time, man. Grow vegetables, go back into nature like you said to do, smoke a bit of weed, relax, take some magic mushrooms, do what makes you happy. A job's not just a job. A job can be anything you want it to be. Do you know what I mean? And just because you've not found that calling yet to do something in the world, whether it be working with people, whether it be working with numbers, whether it be working with goddamn spaceships, I'm saying at this point your life is empty of motivation. And I don't believe that you probably put the 12 months to the best of use, but I would say that the journalistic value of what you've achieved is exceptional. And what I'm saying is, it's a man's struggle with his ego, and I know more than anyone, a struggle with your ego can be the most painful and emotional experience. And I just urge you to take a step back, remember those times with Danny, take those times and try and remember what he was trying to tell you. If you've read his blogs, you know exactly what he's saying, and I would say you've got to be humble, man, at this time. That's my advice. It's from the ether, some information, so a message from the ether to you, Charlie, and to everybody else. Let's remember what's important.